harsh weather has left a wonderful surprise for Southern California residents. Find out how students are taking advantage of the snow.
It's been a year since Russia's invasion of Ukraine. A student shares how this war is impacting her everyday life.
And stay tuned to find out how a bear doing cocaine almost 40 years ago is leaving a mark on moviegoers today.
Annenberg TV News is next.
A historic winter storm has brought snow to Southern California and knocked out power for tens of thousands of people.
Californians wanting a snow day no longer need to head too far north. Hi, I'm Irene Kim.
I'm John Walker. LA's winter storm has left damage and created headaches across Southern California. LA has been experiencing record-breaking rainfall in the last week, with the National Weather Service warning of another system tonight through Wednesday. A winter weather advisory is in place for parts of Los Angeles County. Snow and icy roads are expected in elevations above 5,000 feet. Strong winds and rain caused power outages across Los Angeles. Some residents experienced more than 45 hours in the dark this weekend.
Thornton students won't be able to attend some classes this week. The music complex building has been closed until further notice due to significant damage from all the rain. Affected classrooms are switching to remote formats. For Thornton students, the disruption comes from the stress and anxiety of midterms.
Could work out better, maybe because you don't have to worry about walking around time. But then you also do miss part of the learning in person a little bit, which is always a drag. I don't even know really to what degree the building was damaged. I'd be curious to just look into what parts of the building were damaged, to what degree they were damaged.
The Thornton operations manager told Annenberg Media, quote, "We are hoping to only be down this week, but it may be shorter or longer depending on how fast many of the building systems can be repaired and examined. In the meantime, we're asking classes to be online this week or trying to find alternative meeting spaces." Heavy snowfall has ski resorts preparing for an avalanche of visitors. USC students hit the slopes this past weekend, heading to resorts like Mammoth. Mammoth received a total of 41 inches of snow this past weekend, well above average and with more to come later this week. We spoke to USC ski team and snow club members about how they're taking advantage of the powder.
Significant delays in just getting up there, but once you're up there, the riding's cool. It's beautiful. It's pretty gorgeous to get to experience that amount of snow in that environment.
A lot more is covered in snow. So last season there was a bunch of exposed rocks and dirt in some places where it lacked snow, but this season has been really covered.
Well, it seems like we have a lot of snow going on. We'll see what's going on.
The fate of 43.5 million borrowers with student loans will be decided by the Supreme Court. 6 conservative states are challenging President Biden's loan forgiveness program. We talked to one USC alum who has nearly $70,000 in loans.
I'm hoping job-wise I'll be in a better position, but the 10 grand off would make it a lot better, a lot easier. I've got some savings, right? I've got parents I'm able to live with. A lot of people don't have that. If you're someone who's got to be living on their own, if you're someone working the job where you got to pay, $1,500, $2,000 a month in rent, and then get food plus car plus travel, you're not in a good position, right? You're going to be in a very bad position when this starts.
Biden's plan would cancel $10,000 of federal student loans for those who make less than $125,000 a year, and households making less than $250,000 a year. Low-income students with Pell Grants can receive another $10,000 in debt relief. Win or lose, students will have to go back to paying off their loans by the end of August. The court is expected rule by the end of its term in June. So far, more than 26 million Americans have applied for loan forgiveness.
Russia is launching another major offensive in Ukraine as the war hits its one-year anniversary. At least 8,000 Ukrainian civilians have died so far. 1 year ago, Russia refused to even call it a war. Since then, the Russian, quote, special military operation has forced millions to flee the country, including a USC sophomore.
Family face like a lot of financial hardships and don't have access to our home right now. When I'm thinking about the time when the war, there were no war, and I didn't need to worry about my family from that point of view.
As of today, there are at least 8 million Ukrainian refugees across Europe. Nearly 3 million refugees reside in Russia and 1.5 million in Poland. It looks as though there is no end in sight to this war. Meanwhile, Western countries continue to send aid and weapons to Ukraine, and U.S. officials say China might deliver artillery and drones to Moscow. The United States Energy Department has concluded with, quote, low confidence that the COVID-19 pandemic started from a laboratory leak in China. According to the Wall Street Journal, a newly updated intelligence report led to the conclusion, which the FBI shares. Intelligence agencies have been split on the origin of COVID-19 for years. The other leading theory is that the transmission of COVID-19 to humans originated from markets selling animals in Wuhan, China. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan cautioned that the new report does not provide a, quote, definitive answer. The United States continues to investigate the cause of the virus that has killed over 1 million Americans.
Over the weekend, USC struck a tentative deal to settle a 6-year-old lawsuit challenging its retirement plan management. The lawsuit was scheduled to go to trial. The $13 million settlement put to rest a lawsuit filed by 9 current and former USC faculty and staff that claims USC's retirement plan charges unreasonable administrative fees while offering underperforming and mishandled investment options. USC is one of more than 20 prominent universities accused of retirement plan mismanagement since 2016. The case has led to $125 million in settlements and reopened claims against Northwestern University. Graduate and student workers at USC voted to join the United Auto Workers Union. Voters overwhelmingly chose to have the union represent the 3,000 teaching, research, and lecture assistants at the university. In a note to faculty, the interim vice provost said, quote, during the interim period between the union election and the conclusion of bargaining, the university must maintain the status quo with respect to graduate student terms and conditions of employment. This means that the university cannot unilaterally change aspects of graduate students' pay, benefits, and working conditions at this time. Students plan on tackling issues like pay and health care and protection from abusive conduct. 95 Minutes of a Bear on Hard Drugs is blowing up at the box office. More details coming up.
Ever wonder if you'll be able to climb Mount Everest? Well, a USC sophomore just did. Find out more after the break.
From a dance club to a team sport, how newfound financial freedom will impact these performers.
Worried your friend's struggling but don't know how to reach out?
You could say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You could ask with an app if it works for you. You could write them a text or knit them a sweater. If you can't be together, you could write them a letter. Whatever gets you talking. Whatever gets you talking. You could chat on the game, kick off your flip-flops. You could ask on your couch while you binge watch. However you do it, you gotta ask a friend. And if they don't share, you can ask again. Whatever gets you talking. Whatever gets you talking.
There are a lot of ways to reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand, trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
Some freshman dorms at USC don't have heat. Reporter Marissa Rio joins us with an update on the cold weather, how the cold weather is affecting students. Marissa, what's going on?
Yeah, I was just outside of New North, which is one of the dorms that doesn't have heat. So a lot of these students are struggling. And get this, last semester when we had that huge heat wave, those students couldn't even keep warm. And now they couldn't keep cool, and now they can't even keep warm. We spoke to one Berkrand RA about how this is affecting students.
We're kind of transitioning to a lot of colder weather, and so everyone's kind of complaining about it all together, and we're kind of struggling. I think that the fact that we're not able to have heaters and it's actually
against regulation to have a heater in your room, I think that's kind of troublesome. I think that's a problem and it should be addressed.
While I was out there at New North, I spoke to two freshmen about what their life has been like without this heat, and they said that a lot of students are coming down to the lobby and just piling on blankets just to stay warm, so they're really struggling. For Annenberg Media, I'm Marissa Rio. Now back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Marissa. The dance group USC Expressions is now an official club sport. The USC Recreational Club Council approved the move for the Contemporary and Jazz Dance Company. The funding and recognition by the university will provide stability to the dance team. One of the dancers talks about what it means to her now that the team has become an official club sport.
I think it just allows us to, first of all, perform without having the huge stress of having to rent out Bovard with our own money and company money, and also just obtain rooms to rehearse in and practice in without being stressed that they're gonna kick us out or that we don't really have a space to practice.
The Contemporary and Jazz Company has been around for 10 years. The 34 dancers are rehearsing for a performance planned for later this semester.
USC is home to many talented students who break records and make history. Reporter Tracy Wang introduces us to one young athlete who climbs to the top of mountains.
Lucy Westlake is a freshman recruit on the track and cross-country teams.
I'm a distance runner, so in cross-country we run the 6K, but in high school I ran the 2 miles, so college I'll probably run 3K, 5K, 10K.
Off the track, Lucy's a distance climber. Last May, she became the youngest American woman to summit Mount Everest. She says her love for mountaineering began in first grade.
I started doing this thing called high pointing when I was 7, and that was basically just climbing to the top of each state. I started doing, bigger mountains and finished Denali, which is the largest one in Alaska. I finished that when I was 17.
Lucy reached the top of the world when she was just 18 years old. What's the hardest part of her 25-day journey?
I'd say on Everest, the biggest challenge for me was the emotional side of it, just because that was my first mountain without my dad, so I didn't have that tie to home. Got to day 20 and I was just I want to go home, I want to see my family and everything, and I was really missing them.
Her next mission, it's called the Explorer's Grand Slam. All she has to do is climb the highest summits of all 7 continents, and ski the North and South Poles. If Lucy finishes by May of this year, she will once again be the youngest woman to meet this challenge.
She's very driven by something greater than herself.
She's mentally tough, tougher than just about anyone I've ever met.
Her determination, her willpower. Those are the 2 main things that's one thing a coach cannot coach.
This semester, Lucy's focused on her studies at the Price School of Public Policy and making friends. But she'll have to gear up soon. She has 3 expeditions left in the Explorer's Grand Slam if she's going to make history again. For Annenberg Media, I'm Tracy Wang.
Thanks, Tracy, and good luck, Lucy, with all your endeavors. Healthy eating is easier said than done, especially when you're the one chefing it up. Tonight, segment anchor Mahek teamed up with Malcolm to show us how healthy eating can be easy, budget-friendly, and simple.
Thanks, Irene. As food prices rise with inflation, it can seem impossible to cook healthy meals without breaking the bank. Luckily, USC athletics dietitian Jamin McJinkson explained how to simplify healthy grocery shopping.
Balanced nutrition is important for especially people in college because they are on the go all the time. Take advantage of frozen foods. They are just as nutritious as fresh foods and they hold longer. So definitely planning ahead before you go into the grocery store, really categorizing everything you need from like vegetables, carbohydrates, proteins. That way you have a plan going in and you're not going to overspend.
Exactly. This dietitian said all you need for a nutritious meal are proteins, healthy fats, and carbs. Hearing Jamin speak inspired Malcolm and I to go and test out this advice. With a budget of just $10, we bought tortillas, tofu, frozen veggies, and salsa at the Village Target to create some high-protein tofu tacos. I have zero experience in cooking, but I definitely felt like Gordon Ramsay that day. We ended up making enough tacos to share with his roommates, and the whole process only took us about 20 minutes. So if you're looking to try healthy eating, here's proof that it's possible regardless of skill, budget, or time. It only costs us around $3.40 per serving of tofu tacos. Try this challenge out with your friends. What healthy meal can you cook under $10? Till then, I'll pass it off to my sous chef, Malcolm.
Thanks, Mahek. I don't know if I'd consider myself a chef, but it was absolutely fun and super, super splendid. Unlike this week's weather, gonna be a little bit more rocky. Let's bring you into that 5-day forecast. Sorry, our current forecast as of today on this wonderful Monday, 86% humidity. You could kind of tell, mostly because there was a lot of moistness in the air, and there was a 52% increase in the sky today, or as it's known in the business school, an A. Now, let's bring you into that proper 5-day forecast. All right, this week we're going to kick it off with a lot of rain. It's going to be 56 degrees as a high and 49 as your low. I suggest you pop out some umbrellas, as you saw around the campus with some of that Mary Poppins cosplay. Now, let's push you over to Wednesday. No rain. That temperature is going to maintain the same, though. Still going to be quite cloudy. Definitely a chilly weather day. Now, Thursday and Friday, probably my two favorite days of the week. It's the only days that the sun will choose to shine behind the clouds and give us a little bit of that old school Southern California flair that we're all so used to. But as we bring you into Saturday, 66 degrees as your high, 47 for your low. We're going to be cloudy once again. Now, cold outside means that you want to be warm inside, and Southern California Gas has committed $10 million to help pay customers for their bills. In a statement, the CEO of SoCal Gas said, quote, "This winter's unprecedented natural gas prices on top of an already high inflation have been a real hardship for many Southern Californians, especially our most vulnerable, our seniors and those facing difficult circumstances." The company also announced it will contribute $4 million to provide free meals and groceries to combat food insecurity and $1 million to help small restaurant owners. Now, something I'm looking forward to a lot is USC basketball this season, and we're going to send it over to Will to give you more on the scoop for this March Madness.
Thanks, Malcolm. Next on ATVN Sports, USC men's basketball prevailed in a high-stakes road trip to the Rockies this weekend to boost its tournament hopes. Back home at Galen Center, USC women's hoops surged from behind in a dramatic senior day victory. See what's next for the Trojans in the postseason. And the NFL Combine starts tomorrow. Find out which USC standouts will be participating in Indianapolis.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown and feel technique. After the first drown, a good stir. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay. Yeah. Hey Smokey, catch! Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows? Maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, read your lease. No pets allowed. My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Welcome back to ATVN Sports. I'm Chaz Messman.
And I'm Adam Jasper. We've got plenty of college hoops action to discuss as February gives way to the madness of March. USC men's basketball showed out on its biggest road trip of the season, sweeping Colorado and Utah this past weekend. Facing a notoriously difficult mountain road trip, the Trojans clamped up on defense. They held Colorado to 36% shooting in an 84-65 win Thursday, but USC's stifling defending was just getting started, as the team allowed only 49 points against Utah Saturday. The wins earned USC a first-round bye in the Pac-12 tournament, and the Trojans reached the 20-win mark for the fourth consecutive season, and that's a program record. We're officially counting down the hours until the month of March. This past weekend has had some moments of mayhem and bizarre buzzer beaters. We start with Florida State of all teams upsetting Miami at the Horn Saturday. Then Desmond Cambridge Jr. hit this heave to upset 7th-ranked Arizona. San Diego State staved off New Mexico at the last second, and the antics didn't stop on Sunday as Michigan's Hunter Dickinson hit a buzzer beater to force overtime. Finally, in women's college hoops, Iowa's Caitlin Clark had ice in her veins with this shot to defeat Indiana. So it's a big win for Arizona State. How you feeling, Chad?
Fire me up. Desmond Cambridge Jr., big shot. Let's go. Back in the tournament conversation. And on that note, let's throw it over to Will at the monitor.
USC women's hoops had another 2-0 weekend to close out its regular season. First, the Trojans' defense dominated in a 46-43 slugfest win over Washington on Thursday. Then, in Saturday's matchup with Washington State, the Trojans found themselves down by as much as 19 points late in the third quarter. But USC battled back to force overtime thanks to 4 points in the final minute by redshirt freshman guard Taylor Bigby. Fittingly, on senior day, it was two graduates, guard Akako Adika and forward Caddy Sissoko, who had massive buckets to pull out a gutsy 68-65 double overtime win. Next, USC moves on to the Pac-12 tournament as the 6th seed, beginning with a first-round matchup with 11-seed Oregon State, as you can see. Speaking of which, let's get some predictions for how this conference tournament is going to go. Let me pull out my pen, and we'll start with that USC game. I like the Trojans to defeat Oregon State. They've already taken down the Beavers twice this season. I'm also going to take Washington State and Oregon to advance in their first-round matchups. Finally, give me UCLA over an Arizona State team that only won one game in conference play this season. Moving on to the next round, give me Arizona over the Bruins. I really like the way the Wildcats have been playing lately. Next, we'll go with Stanford over Oregon, and Utah in that high-powered offense over Washington State. Finally, give me an upset. Give me the Trojans to move on to the Pac-12 semifinals. They've also beaten Colorado twice this season. I'm expecting it to be a third time. However, that's going to be the end of the line for the Trojans. Give me Utah going to the Pac-12 tournament championship game over the Trojans. I don't think the Trojans have enough defense to stop that high-powered Utah offense. And finally, give me another upset. Give me Arizona over Stanford. I don't like the way Stanford's been playing lately. That offense has been struggling. Give me the Wildcats, who I think are playing a little bit better right now. However, my Pac-12 tournament champion is Utah. Utah is a national title contender, folks. That offense is so hard to stop. I don't care who you are. Give me the Utes as the Pac-12 tournament champion. Back to you guys at the desk.
Tomorrow, the NFL Scouting Combine kicks off in Indianapolis. This week is one of the most pivotal steps in the pre-draft process. There will be 5 former USC Trojans attending: wide receiver Jordan Addison, defensive lineman Tuli Tuipulotu, cornerback Mekhi Blackman, offensive lineman Andrew Voorhees, and running back Travis Dye. The most highly touted Trojan prospect is Jordan Addison. The wide receiver is projected to be a first-round pick. In his only season with Southern Cal, Addison caught 59 passes for 875 yards and 8 scores, all team leads. Tui Pelotu and Blackman will also be working out this week. Tuli was a first-team All-American this past season, and Blackman was a third-team All-American. Dye and Voorhees are working their way back from injuries, but will be attending. Dye will not be running at the Combine, but is reportedly close to being back at 100%. The Combine kicks off tomorrow, and the on-field workouts start on Wednesday. You can catch all the workouts and interviews on NFL Network. Now, Adam, who is a player for the USC that you think could... Oh, sorry, we don't have time for that. We're going to send it over to the monitor and back to news. Thanks for joining us on ATVN Sports.
Cocaine Bear's open box office is nothing to sniff at. Find out how this film is even more surprising than expected.
Lávate las manos por 20 segundos como Elmo.
Hay algo especial acerca de este lugar. Se siente como un hogar, una sala debajo del cielo y los árboles. Rodeado de aire fresco y la naturaleza. Todo aquí para que lo disfrutemos y para que lo cuidemos. Tenemos la responsabilidad de cuidar de esta tierra que llamamos casa, de preservarla para las generaciones que vienen. Cada acción pequeña contribuye para un cambio mayor y cada uno de nosotros podemos hacer la diferencia. Hay algo especial acerca de este bosque. Es un lugar donde se hacen recuerdos y juntos podemos preservarla y protegerla.
Lions and tigers and bears on cocaine? Oh my! Universal Pictures' Cocaine Bear defied expectations at the box office, raking in $23.2 million in its opening weekend. Good for second behind Ant-Man and the Wasp.
A bear did cocaine.
After a drug shipment gets thrown from a plane over Georgia, a black bear stumbles upon the mountain of cocaine in the woods and consumes it. What follows is cops, drug dealers, tourists, and teens running for their lives from the coked-up, monstrous bear. The film is well on its way to cult status. We talked to one student about why it's so popular.
Cocaine Bear, it's a really fun movie. I had a great time watching it. It's really violent, and I guess there are elements of horror movies in it, you know, but it's not scary. Like, it's kind of, they do it in a funny way.
Director Elizabeth Banks called the movie a ginormous risk in an interview for Variety magazine. The risk paid off. Cocaine Bear earned a 70% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Well, Irene, are you excited for Cocaine Bear? Are you going to run out to the theaters and see it?
Oh, 100%. I am watching Cocaine Bear, you guys. I feel like it's so funny, and honestly, I'm intrigued. What is the storyline about? What about you, John?
I'm super excited. I'm not a big horror fan, but I love a good horror comedy that plays into the comedy.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm super excited.
Okay.
But for everyone here at Annenberg Media, thanks for watching Annenberg TV News. I'm John Walker.
And I'm Irene Kim. For more coverage, watch and subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Annenberg Media. Good night.